Hey, what's up, guys? This week, let's talk about elevated thinking. Hey, guys, welcome to another episode of Prosperity TV with a crooked camera. How we doing? I want to talk about elevated thinking. We talk a lot on this channel. You hear me mention always, you want to be the thinker of the thought. When you're the thinker of the thought, you've elevated yourself. You're up at 35,000 feet and you're able to look down on yourself objectively and think about what you think about. You become one of my favorite words in the world is mindful. You become mindful of what you think about. So what does that look like and why is it so important for prosperity? I'm having lunch with Terry Brock. We're down in Miami, and which is where I'm coming to you from today. You can't tell because all you see is the blank office wall. I'm hiding here because my housekeeper is here today. And so anyway, we're having lunch, and this lady walks up to the table and says, hey, either of you guys like a psychic reading? And I look at her and I say, if you really were a psychic, you wouldn't have to ask that question. So, Terry laughs and he's like, how do you think of that? And I said, it's just, it just comes natural to me because if she was a psychic, right, why would she have to ask that question? It just, hola, saluda a la gente. Está en la TV. My housekeeper. So, that's what I'm thinking. Like, doesn't she see how incongruent this would be to go and ask me that question if she really was a psychic? I'm watching, Nat Geo or the BBC one time, and I love, nature shows, and this one was about the ocean, and so they're talking about this. Do you call them pods of whales? This big? I think it's a pod, whatever. So this big group of whales, killer whales, orcas, and they say, and 5 miles away is a pod of, or whatever, seals, whatever the group of seals are. Somebody can tell me down in the comments. So the killer whales are thinking about how they're going to get to these seals and, eat them. And I'm thinking, okay, how do they know what the whales are thinking? They don't. Obviously, they got a bunch of footage. They have the footage in the studio. Now they're creating a narrator dialogue. And so they know that the next thing is, 10 minutes from now or 20 minutes from now, the whales are going to come across this group of seals and attack them. And, they're looking for breakfast. But they don't know what those whales are thinking. But you have to raise yourself up at 30,000 feet and question that. You have to be the critical thinker. You got to have that discernment. This dear friend of mine comes to me and says, I had some sessions with a dream, I don't know what she calls herself, like a dream interpreter or something. So my friend will go to her and tell her what she dreamt in the last week, and then this dream interpreter interprets these dreams and tells her what they mean. And I'm like, how would you know if she was right? How would you know if she was wrong? How would she know if she was right or wrong? This is total pure conjecture, total pure speculation. And my friend's like, well, I think she trains in it or something. No, there's no training for that. And if there was training for that, let's suppose Harvard University started a PhD program in dream interpretation. How would the professors know that anything they teach is correct or incorrect, that it's a good premise or a bad premise? There's no way to tell. So you dream, I remember growing up, my buddy Ed is like, hey, I had a dream last night. Ronald McDonald got his head cut off by a Ferris wheel. Okay. So what does that mean? How do we interpret that? Does that mean my friend Ed is going to grow up to be an axe murderer? I mean, that's what I would think they would say, but it's 40 years later, and no, he's not an axe murderer, so I don't know. You just have to, the other example of this, and it's a big one for you guys watching, parents. How many of you had things that your parents did when they raised you that you absolutely hated? That not hated because you were mad because they didn't let you go to the mall because you got, you did something wrong and you were grounded. I mean, they did something and you said, this is just bad parenting. You were conscious enough at that age, or you can look back on it now and be conscious enough to know and say, that was really bad parenting. That doesn't help me. That didn't help me grow up to become a healthier, happier, more productive adult. But yet you've repeated the same exact process with your children. Or you're a dentist because 4 generations of your family were dentists. And all you really want to do is hip hop dancing or sculpting or write operas or build irrigation wells in Africa. So I think a big part of manifesting prosperity in your life is the elevated thinking. This is why, I always say, schedule some time just to think every week, just to think about what you think about. And then raise yourself up, get up there at that altitude, high altitude thinking, where you really can look down on yourself objectively and ask yourself, why am I doing this? What is the outcome that I want to happen from this? What is the likelihood that taking this behavior or doing this action is going to get me that outcome? What am I doing today that's getting me one step closer to where I want to be? So think about that. Make that your project for the week. Elevated thinking. And let me know what you think down in the comments. All right, go out and have an amazing week. Love you guys. Peace. It has come to my attention that many of you are watching this show and you have not subscribed. And you do realize my mother watches the show every week and she can see those numbers. So please, don't embarrass me in front of my mother and subscribe.